Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Hey guys, the Black Critic Guy, and man, it feels so great to be holding this shield in a video once again. I honestly think the last time I held a Captain America shield in a video was in 2016 when I reviewed Captain America Civil War. 9 years it's been since I've held a shield in a video. But man, it fits real nicely in my arm. I'm excited. By the way, just for clarity, not the same shield. That old shield was actually, I think, made of tin. This one's made of, I think, plastic. This is not actually metal, obviously. This is like a replica of the metal shield that I think they do sell. But this is like the kids' version or the toy version of it. But hey, it looks pretty accurate to the film's shield. And again, fits nicely in my arm, so I'm not really going to complain about it. It is a very nice shield. When I found this on Guam, I knew I had to buy it immediately. Best $200 I ever spent. Yes, it was $200. No, I'm not upset about it. I would never be upset about buying a Captain America shield. As long as it's still... I bought this 5 years ago, by the way. Still good. Still good. Still amazing. And then also you got my Captain America little section here, of course. Anywho, so in honor of Captain America Brave New World, the newest Captain America film in 9 years, I thought I should sit down and rewatch all 3 of the Captain America films with my girlfriend. And I'm also considering watching Falcon and the Winter Soldier, since I never really got to see the series due to the, I wouldn't say the fan backlash, but the lackluster reviews it was getting, as well as the fact that, I didn't really have Disney Plus at the time, and I didn't really care to watch it, although I think it is important, I think it is pivotal to watch the series, considering it is the precursor that leads to Sam fully embracing the role of Captain America, which Steve Rogers bestowed upon him in Endgame, so maybe I should watch it. Anywho, this is all just build-up, but yeah, I'm going to rewatch all of the films, maybe the series, all leading up to me watching Captain America Brave New World, and of course, doing a legit review of it. I'm the biggest Captain America fan probably on the internet, so I definitely got to review that movie. I'm going to see it the day before it premieres, actually. Fun fact, on Guam, we can watch the movie at 2 p.m. on Thursday. That's the first showing for Captain America. And I get off of work at 11:30. Guess what I'm going to do at 2 p.m.? Yes, exactly. Anywho, so I'm going to rewatch the films, and then I'm going to get on this camera and give my quick thoughts on each of them. Yes, I know. When have I ever? But I'm going to see if I can keep this under 10 minutes. So, timer starts. I don't know why I did that. I don't even have... This isn't even a watch. Force a habit. Anywho, so we're talking about Captain America, the First Avenger. And if I were to just describe this movie in a simple word or phrase, I would say quaint. It's very quaint. They really don't make superhero films like this anymore. Like, you take this film from 2011 and compare it to a film 10 years later, Black Widow, which is, if you think about it, they should be the same type of film. But whereas Captain America, the First Avenger, despite taking place in World War II, was more reserved, more restrained, and less CGI action heavy than a film like Black Widow, which didn't have that gigantic dire straits, or at least not anything that I would consider really dire. I get that they did the whole, like, oh, he's going to take over the world kind of thing, blah, 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 whatever. But, man, you see Captain America, the First Avenger, and then watch Black Widow, man, it is complete night and day. They are so different as movies, yet they're in the same franchise. It's crazy. So yeah, watching the film, that's the first thing that went through my mind is that, man, not only do they not make Marvel Cinematic Universe films like these anymore, they don't make superhero films like these anymore. Like, I honestly believe, and this will be the title of the video too, that Captain America, the First Avenger is the last genuine superhero film. Because after Captain America, we got into the highly fantastical, over-the-top type of superhero. We don't have the simple superhero no more. We don't have the average man superhero anymore. Every superhero that we put on the screen is larger than life. Their action scenes are larger than life. Their settings are larger than life. Even a movie like Blue Beetle, which you could say, oh, well, it's about a kid and his family and stuff, or even Shazam. Even those have very mystical, larger than life settings now. There are no superhero films like Captain America, the First Avenger. And in essence, that's probably one of its greatest accomplishments. That's actually one of its best qualities, is that it's unique in the superhero genre. And I personally feel like Captain America, the First Avenger, is actually emblematic of Captain America as a character himself in this movie and as a character in comics. Because when you think about what's the coolest Marvel movie, it's not Captain America. You would probably pick a dozen or so other Marvel Cinematic movies. The first Iron Man comes to mind. All the Guardians of the Galaxy films come to mind. People probably will say Thor Ragnarok, even though they're wrong. There are so many cooler superhero films in this franchise alone. We're not even talking outside the franchise. If we're talking outside, shoot, take your pick. Any of the Batman movies are cooler than any Captain America film. Does it have the best action? No, it's not the best or the most heavy action Marvel Cinematic Universe film. Hell, the sequel itself has better action than it. All the Avengers films have better action than it. Is it the most iconic? No. I would argue, if you're talking iconic, again, all the Avengers, Iron Man, the first Guardians of the Galaxy films, they're all more iconic than Captain America, the First Avenger. But what I will say that this film has over all those other films, just like Captain America the character, is that this is honestly the most genuine of all the superhero films in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Just like Captain America as a character is honestly the most genuine superhero ever created. And I was thinking about talking about why I love Captain America in this video, but I'm actually going to make a separate video going into detail why I love Captain America so much. I don't want to bog it down too much about talking about Captain America, despite the fact this movie is about Captain America. But that's the thing. Captain America, the First Avenger, alongside the character himself, they're just genuinely the epitome of what a superhero film and a superhero should be. They embody all the characteristics. And that's right there, that's what makes this film shine. It doesn't have the coolest action scenes. It doesn't have the most memorable characters. But when you think about what truly makes a superhero film, I can't choose a better example than Captain America, the First Avenger, as the template for what is a good superhero film. And it starts really with the characters. Steve Rogers is just a fascinating character to me. He's a rich character to me. I love everything about the character, what he stands for, what he believes in, how he never runs away from a fight, despite the odds being against him. And he does this throughout the film. It's not just when he was skinny. He runs into a Hydra facility by himself in the middle of the night, in the middle of nowhere with no backup and no hope for help. And he alone is able to get the drop on them and save everybody. The odds were stacked against him, and he still came out on top. And that's another thing that I love about Captain America. Every time, the odds are always stacked against him, but he finds a way, he wills a way to make this work, to come out on top. That's a rare quality. That's a rare thing to find in a superhero. Most superheroes are bestowed with these amazing powers, or are smart, or are talented in some way. Captain America, Steve Rogers, is a simple guy. He comes from a simple upbringing. What truly makes him a superhero is in here, his heart. He's a great man who stands up against oppression no matter where it is. And one of the most pivotal scenes, really the scene that sold me on the character and also sold me on Chris Evans playing the character. There is a scene between him and Dr. Erskine. It's the first scene they share in the movie where he simply asks him, "Do you want to kill Nazis?" And he goes, "Is this a test?" "Yes." And he says, "I don't want to kill anybody. I just don't like bullies, no matter who they are." That right there is the best line in the entire film. In my opinion, I think that line is super powerful. It paints a beautiful picture of who Steve Rogers is as a character. Yes, some people think he's boring. In fact, that was the running joke about Steve Rogers. Oh, he's just Superman light. He's a boring, very one-dimensional character. Like, oh, I fight for truth, justice, and the American way. If you still think that Captain America, Steve Rogers, is a one-dimensional character, you truly don't know the character of Captain America. He's not even close to one-dimensional. You just see the red, white, and blue, you see the goody two-shoes role, and you just label him as one-dimensional when there are so much to the character. He has so many facets that you're unwilling to acknowledge. That's just the truth. So yeah, it starts with the main character. You root for him. He's a likable main character. He's interesting. He's someone that you want to see succeed. And another great thing too is that the relationships in this film are so well fleshed out. They're well put together. You buy chemistry and connections between the characters. Dr. Erskine is not in the film for very long, but he might be honestly one of the most pivotal characters in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and he's only in one film. He's only in one film, and he's one of the most pivotal characters because without him, there's no Captain America, and by proxy, there's no the Hulk. He created the first superhero in this universe. That's cool. That's amazing. So, he's a pivotal character. And his relationship with Steve Rogers is actually quite dynamic. You could really tell that he gets a sense of who Steve is at his core, what kind of person he is. That's why he entrusts him with the serum. He wouldn't just give it to any, half-wit, any strong masculine male. He wanted to pick someone with a genuine heart that is a true hero despite his limitations, and that's what Steve Rogers is. His relationship with Peggy Carter. I still profess to this day, Peggy Carter is the best love interest in any Marvel Cinematic Universe film. The best. Better than Gamora. Better than... I forget which one Gwyneth Paltrow plays. I forget her name. See, I don't even care for her. Better than MJ. Better than... Take your pick. Better than Natalie Portman's character. Jane Foster. The reason I always loved Peggy Carter is because she isn't a damsel. She never needed to be saved once in the film. She stood her own ground. In fact, she had probably one of the coolest scenes where she literally stands in the middle of the road and shoots a guy in the head at a long distance and then stares down a car driving right towards her and doesn't even flinch. That's badass. That's cool. That's an awesome character. But she also shows vulnerability from time to time. She shows some of her feminine qualities. They don't just make her a rough touting, I embrace all masculine elements despite being a female. She's not that kind of character. Yes, she has some toughness to her, but she still embodies a lot of womanly qualities that I also appreciated. And again, her relationship with Steve Rogers comes off so genuine. It starts off as simple, I care about him, to I love him. And it's very gradual. It grows throughout the film. And it's earned. You truly feel like these two care for each other. You know, some of my favorite moments in the film are these very sweet moments, these small little moments between Steve and Peggy. She's there when he first gets into the camp and thinks very little of him. She cares about him when he's going through the process of becoming the super soldier and is the first person to tell Erskine to shut down the machine because it's definitely going to kill him. And, you know, she's there to basically be a great support to him. She believes in not only the image of Captain America, but in Steve Rogers' ability. And that's pretty cool. And I love that scene. She comes in with that smoking red dress and doesn't pay attention to any other person but Steve. She never breaks eye contact. She doesn't hear the noise around her. You know, Bucky's trying his hardest to freaking mac on this chick. She's not even paying him any mind. She's so focused on Steve. And again, some of the line, I don't think we give Captain America enough credit for some of its writing. I think it has some of the best writing in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Yeah, there are some cheesy lines like, I really hate when they come back from the facility, right? And then Bucky's like, hey, let's give it up for Captain America, or let's hear it for Captain America. That was such a forced line. I hate it to this very day. I'm like, we didn't need the standing ovation thing. But lines like, you know, maybe I'll go dancing. Oh, well, what are you waiting for? The right partner. Or the last line of the movie actually is also really good. He's like, well, spoilers don't matter. As you know, Captain America crashes into the ice. He's been frozen for 70 years, and so he missed out on a lot. And the last thing he says in the film is like, yeah, I had a date. Instantly thinking of Peggy. Oh, I love their relationship so much. I would honestly say that Peggy and Captain America, one of the best things about them is that they're on equal footing. No one's better than the other. You know, when you think about Tony Stark and his wife, his girlfriend, they're not on equal playing field. Jane and Thor, not on equal playing field. Maybe Gamora and Star-Lord are kind of on equal playing fields, although I would argue Gamora way more interesting than Star-Lord himself. Or even MJ to Spider-Man. Not on the same level, in my opinion, obviously. These two characters are on the same level. That's one of the reasons why they vibe so well together. That's why they connect so well. His relationship with Bucky Barnes. Though he doesn't get a lot of scenes in the film, the moments that they do share with each other are fantastic. I like it. You know, Sebastian Shaw really sold me on him being Bucky. And again, that goes back to the performances. I didn't give enough props to the performances. I mean, Chris Evans, he'll always have my heart. He'll always be Captain America to me. Yes, I'm willing to embrace Anthony Mackie. I'm willing to embrace Sam Wilson as the new Captain America. But for me, guys, there really is only one Captain America. It will always be Steve Rogers to me. I will always be down for Steve. You know, despite whoever holds the shield, it didn't matter to me. It didn't matter the person holding the shield. It mattered the virtue of the person holding the shield. And I always felt like Steve Rogers was the most virtuous person to ever hold the shield. But yeah, Chris Evans, I feel like that was honestly perfect casting. And as shocking as that's to say, because when you think of Chris Evans, before he became Captain America, who was Chris Evans? He was the slick-talking, quippy, hot guy in all of these movies. You know, you would never, ever take him seriously. And here he is playing a rather serious character. Captain America's not a goofy character in the sense of, like, he tells jokes and one-liners. He takes himself very seriously. So I get that when we first heard that Chris Evans was taking on the role. There was a bit of a knee-jerk reaction, considering, one, he's been in a Marvel movie before. Two, every time he's casted in a movie, he plays the wisecrack guy. He plays the support character. Can he really lead a film? This was, I think, his first leading role. And he knocked it out of the park. He gave a dynamic performance, and he honestly will always be Captain America. Haley Atwell. This was the first movie I ever saw her in, and I thought she kicked ass. And I've always liked her since. Then you got some powerhouse actors like Tommy Lee Jones, and you got Stanley Tucci. Shit, you got Hugo Weaving playing another conventional villain, although there's a lot to unpack, I would say, with the Red Skull. I think upon rewatching, there's a lot to him that I really admire. Like, yes, he's cliché-ly evil. He wants to take over the world, or at least he wants to dominate the world. But there's a lot of intrigue to that character in the fact that he truly felt like he was beyond the realm of mankind. He was looking beyond it, right? In fact, that's the thing he kept saying to Captain America throughout the films, like, we've left humanity behind, Cap. What are you doing? We're the gods in this world. If you think about it, we're superhumans. Why are you wasting your time with the scum? Is it in his perspective, and how he doesn't mock the magical or the mystical. He embraces it fully and says, well, it's not actually. It actually plays off of what Thor said, where what you guys see as magic, we see it as science. He says the same things, like, oh yeah, magic for simpletons, but it's science, if you actually know what we're talking about. There's some intrigue to the Red Skull, and I felt like he was a great foil to Captain America. I mean, he is a foil in the most literal sense. They both are super soldiers, but one, literally, he turned inside out, and the other one is pure at heart, right? They're supposed to be foils. But I even love the way that they both see how to use their powers. One sees it as a way of dominating the world. The other one sees it as a way of helping the world, saving the world. They're mirror images of each other. Perfect. Once again, talking about relationships, their villain-hero relationship was also well handled, too. And again, Hugo Weaving always knocks it out of the park as a villain. As much as it is cliche to always cast him as a villain. Toby Jones was really good as Dr. Zola. Great performances. And then let me go back again to the writing, because again, I want to really give praise to the writing. This is what I feel like is missing in a lot of modern day Marvel Cinematic Universe films, is just taking the time to let the scene breathe. Not constant quipping, just characters having genuine moments, genuine connections. There are so many of these scenes, like when Peggy goes to comfort Captain America after the death of Bucky. Like the scene where Dr. Erskine and Steve Rogers are in the room and he's talking about, when he lived in Germany and they're about to share a drink. And here's the thing, the jokes are earned. They build up to the moment that a character does a joke. It's not just quipping left and right like in most modern day Marvel movies. In fact, I saw the trailer for Thunderbolts. God damn, I felt like every other line in that trailer was a joke. I'm like, damn it. They haven't learned their lesson still. We're still quipping like it's 2012. 13 years later. Damn it. Stop it. So when I see, this goes back to what I was saying about it being quaint. The fact that these scenes were allowed to breathe. There were some really genuinely dramatic moments, serious moments, and the film never took it as a joke or undercut it with a joke, like how other Marvel films would do. They always took it seriously, or at least they treated the scene with respect, and I respected them for doing so. So yeah, the writing actually is surprisingly good for a Marvel Cinematic Universe film, and for one of the origin films, I would argue it has better writing than Thor. Maybe not as good as Iron Man, but definitely I would say it's the second best out of the origin films. It's better than the Hulk. I think it's better than Thor. And I would argue it's even better than Iron Man 2. So yeah, I would put it second after Iron Man when it comes to the first 5 films building up to the Avengers. I think it has the second best writing in it. Now, that's not to say that the film is like this magnum opus, obviously. There are problems with the film. For one, I think Joe Johnston, while I get why they picked him, his directorial choices were, yeah, they were pretty boring. Very standard shots, nothing. He kept it within the pocket. You know, he was a very safe choice. Marvel was making safe choices at the time, and he was the safest choice. You know, he stayed in the pocket. He didn't rock the boat. He just did what Marvel told him, basically, and then shot out this film. But there's not a lot of directorial input in these shots. They're very standard, stoic, and pretty flat, which made at least the setup of the shots really boring. You don't get a sense of Joe Johnston as a director in this film. I get that he made The Rocketeer, but when you watch The Rocketeer, it feels like he had a directorial splash in there. Like he actually put forth his creativity in the film. Here, I don't feel like he really had much creativity with his shot making or how he delivered scenes. I feel like the writing did most of the heavy lifting and the acting did most of the heavy lifting. He was just there to just make sure everything went smoothly. And while that's fine, I just would have loved more like, oh yeah, that's a nice Joe Johnston. That was a really interesting choice he made. He didn't make a lot of interesting choices. Hell, even freaking Kenneth Branagh, when he directed Thor, made some interesting choices when telling the story of Thor. You know, you could tell that is Kenneth Branagh coming through the screen. Here, that could have been anybody, honestly. It could have been Alan Taylor, who directed Thor: The Dark World. So yeah, didn't really care for his direction. The CGI. A common complaint about this film. Yeah, has not aged well. It looks worse now than it did many years ago, and it looked bad many years ago. Very cheap. That's this scene where he's running through old Brooklyn. I mean, it still looks disgusting. And him hopping from car to car. I still think to myself, when he lands on that freaking cab, I always think of the same thing. Roger, we gotta get to Toontown. You know, like, that's the first thing that comes to my mind. And that's terrible. If I'm taken out of the moment that easily, not good. Not good whatsoever. So, yeah, CGI hasn't aged well. And I'm surprised that the action hasn't really aged well either. It's pretty by the numbers and flat and boring. Again, if Joe Johnston just added a bit of flair to his action scenes or done something interesting with the shots, it would have been nice. But no, these action scenes are as flat and boring as the shot creation. There are some characters that, damn, I wish we had more time with. I would have loved more time with Howard Stark. Yes, I got the sense of the playboy type character that he was kind of portrayed to be, and it makes sense how he is Tony Stark's father. Literally, a spitting image of his son. Literally. You could see where he got it from. But we don't get much time with him. He tells a few jokes here and there. You know, he's the smart techie guy, but we don't really get much with him. And it's sad because I thought Dominic Cooper did a really good job playing Tony Stark, and Howard Stark, and I wish we could have saw more of him. I know that he was in the TV series, Agent Carter, which was short-lived, which is sad because Agent Carter I thought was a pretty decent show in my opinion. It was a decent show. I don't think it should have been canceled. But we didn't get much time with him. Nor did we get much time with the stereotypical the stereotypes that end up being Captain America's team. You got the black guy, you got the French dude, you got the British man, you got the brazen white guy, you got the Asian dude. Literally, they're just walking stereotypes. And that's it. The black guy can speak and understand German and French. And the reason he did that was so that he could hook up with girls. Woo, cool. What a character. Not. He's just not an interesting character. You know, and that's sad because I feel like they had potential. Shit, they casted freaking Luke Derrick and Neil McDonough, these great character actors, and gave them thankless roles in this Marvel Cinematic Universe film, and you never see them again in any of the films. That's a damn shame. These characters would have been interesting to follow. It would have been great. And I know that they do kind of make an appearance in Agent Carter, but that's not a Marvel Cinematic Universe film. So it's just a shame. They didn't have the potential to be great characters. They weren't given enough time to really grow to be great characters. But yeah, other than that, I still think Captain America, the First Avenger, is a solidly made film. It's a solidly made superhero film. One of the last genuine superhero films. They honestly don't make them like they used to. I don't think we'll ever see another Captain America, the First Avenger, for a very long time. And that's actually something that makes it quite special. It's a fun, enjoyable, entertaining film that I would say is worth watching. If you haven't watched it yet, please check it out. I don't know how you haven't seen it yet, but that's because there's this stigma around Captain America being boring, even though he's not boring. So, yeah. Those are my thoughts about Captain America, the First Avenger. Stay tuned. I'm going to do another video talking about why I think Captain America is the best superhero. Why I love Captain America so much. And then I will do my video on, of course, The Winter Soldier, which is widely considered the best Captain America film. And then following that up, we'll do Civil War. And then after that, let's get to the Brave New World, shall we? But until then, guys, if you'd like to see more videos on this channel, be a part... Oh, actually, wait a minute. One more thing. Shit, I don't know why I forgot to talk about this. Another great thing about this film, the music. I still think Captain America... Excuse me. I still think Captain America not only has the best superhero score, but he even has his own theme song. Who's strong and brave, here to save the American way? What other Marvel character has their own theme song? You can't name one. Only Captain America has it. And it actually is, it's pretty catchy. It's pretty catchy. I like it a lot. And then his theme, the one that I sang at the beginning of the video. Dun, 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 dun. Alan Silvestri based the theme of Captain America on the theme of Superman and on the song by Aaron Copland. I think it was his ode to the everyday soldier or something like that is the song. But I love it. I like the touch of the military horns, and it sounds like a march. It's even called the Captain America March. It's a memorable theme. You know, and this is why you always hear it whenever he's on the screen. You hear that theme play out. It's a great theme. It's a great song. Another thing I do want to touch on, man, why am I thinking about these now? I tried to end the video earlier. But there's one more aspect I want to touch on. I love how this film kind of painted the future of what the Marvel Cinematic Universe would end up being after being sold to Disney. So there's a scene where Captain America is reached by the senator. He's like, hey, you know, you got to be a symbol for the war effort. So what we're going to do is we're going to paint you up and put you in this stupid little outfit, and you're going to sell us war bonds, and you're going to read notes on this little thing and try to sell as much bonds so that we could get more bullets and we could go kill more Nazis. Come on, let's go do that. I think it's almost ingenious how they handled this, how they created this sort of like tongue-in-cheek, very fitting but very fitting like 1940s-esque serialization and stage show idea. Like that's a great idea about like how can we rope in like kind of like the real world depiction of Captain America, you know? Not only that, but like I said, I think it painted it kind of told Marvel's future, because what's Marvel now but a piece used by a conglomerate corporation to basically sell more merchandise. And what was Captain America used for? He was used by high-powered individuals to sell war bonds and just go out there and entertain the nice little kiddies. Just like what Marvel is today. That whole montage screams modern-day MCU. Like the MCU has lost whatever identity it is, and it's become merely just a product. It's just a product manufactured by a corporation to sell toys and merchandise and shirts and all that shit, And that's basically what Captain America was used for at the beginning of the film too. He was out there to sell war bonds and to basically promote the war effort. But there's no soul to it. He literally was a dancing monkey, even drew it like that. So I was like, that's pretty interesting that in a weird way, this film basically foretold the Marvel Cinematic Universe's future of being a dancing monkey for Disney at this point. And tell me I'm wrong. Aren't they the dancing monkeys of Disney? They shoot out a Marvel Cinematic Universe film all the time, chock full of quips and cameos and spectacle all over the place, but no real substance most of the time. Yeah, that's exactly what they do now. And yeah, that whole montage is emblematic of what Marvel's future was going to be. Brilliant writing. Good job to the writers. I believe their name is Christopher Marcus and Stephen McFeely. Great job. Great job there. Now I'm done talking. Okay. How long is this video? Fuck, it's 36 minutes. Quick. Anywho, those are my thoughts on Captain America, the First Avenger. Thank you guys for watching if you stayed this long. I appreciate you watching nonetheless. And if you like to see more videos, channel, be part of the Black Critic Crew, please hit that subscribe button below. Like this video if you really enjoyed it. I'm Tony Locke II, the Star Spangled Man with a Plan, known as Black Critic Guy. Till then, peace, YouTube. God damn.